What's good, people? Agent Jules reporting for duty. So, in continuing riding the Bojack train, I decided to explore Lysandra a little more and kind of think of a what-if episode. Kind of like, what exactly did she do that landed her the seat as CEO of Disney? And, of course, if you're going to tell a Bojack Horseman story, you can't do it without Bojack Horseman himself. So, basically, Lysandra used Bojack in some way, shape, or form to do something so crazy, so innovative, that it shot her straight to the top. And what exactly did she do? Well, now is the time to buckle up, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and hold hands and find out with me. So as a preface, I kind of want to say that I am not familiar with the corporate side of Hollywood. I'm familiar with the entertainment side, the creative side, because I do work in Hollywood, so I know that aspect. But as far as like the, business side of like acquiring this company or talking to the shareholders or any of that's hoo-ha, I have a very surface level understanding. And being the CEO of Disney is not an entertainment position. Obviously, entertainment is a big part of Disney. They are a media company. But in order to be a CEO, you have to be a lot more business-minded. And I am not super business-minded, so what I'm about to kind of concoct is not 100% accurate to what you would actually need to do to become CEO of Disney. So, just kind of disclaimer here, I'm just a dude. I'm not exactly like a business guru. So don't use this video as a how-to become the CEO of a company. All that being said, this story is basically a lark. How did Lysandra goof and bluff and act her way to the top of a corporate office? And I think it would be funny if it ended up being something that wasn't even corporate to begin with, but ended up being such a good deal that they decided, hey, you are who we want to lead this company. And she was just like, okay, cool, I guess. But like in her mind, on the outside, she'd be like, of course, you've made the right decision. I know what I'm doing. So before we can start with the story, we kind of have to start with the beginning of Lysandra as a character. Who is she? What did she grow up like? Why did she decide to take this road that led her to the highest seat in the land? Well, I figured that she's probably like the classic overachiever who had really high expectations from her parents and who was really scared about letting people down and was always told like, oh, you're great and you're going to do great things and we expect high things of you, and dollop that with the added pressure of like, now is the time for women to succeed in the business world, and you need to prove that you're a strong, capable, single woman who, don't need no man and all of that stuff. And so pile that on top of the fact that she has siblings who also are probably big overachievers, and she's probably like the youngest sibling. And so she has all of this pressure of her family. Like her mom's like a doctor and her dad's a lawyer and her brothers and sisters are valedictorians, and, all of this stuff just weighing down on her. Basically, she's been literally tiger mommed. In fact, let's say she literally has a tiger mom. This is Bojack Horseman. There are anthropomorphic animals. So her mom is a tiger. So she was literally tiger mommed. And, now this is kind of the world that she grows up in. So enter Hollywood. She's entering this crazy business that can chew you up and spit you out. And of course, on the inside, she's a nervous wreck. But she's learned to put up an overachiever's facade, right? Because she's been told that you must be strong. You must, puff yourself up. So she's basically made over herself. She has sculpted herself into like the perfect, powerful businesswoman, right? And so that's what she's going to do. She's going to enter this industry and take it by storm. She paints this picture of herself, and she starts where she can. And again, like, she does have merits, even though a lot of her bluster is an act. She does have a modicum of merit. So she does have business savvy. She probably, she definitely had good grades, which means she studied, which means she knows the craft. I imagine that she probably started off in like a mailroom, or maybe not even a mailroom, maybe like in an agency or whatever. She took the Princess Carolyn route. Anyway, the details aren't really what matter. What matters is how she basically bluffs her way to the top. And how she does that is, again, I'm going to rip off of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying by saying she has a book called How to Succeed in Hollywood with Minimal Effort. And and she's reading through it because she wants to succeed, because she's afraid of failure, because that's the way she was raised. And so she's seeing all these things, and of course a lot of these books, because I'm familiar with a lot of these books. You know, I've read How to Think and Grow Rich, I've read Millionaire Next Door, so I'm familiar with a lot of these philosophies, and a lot of these philosophies basically revolve around having a very strong mindset about what you want and going outside of the box while maintaining consistency. However, in this case, I'm going to hyper emphasize the going outside of the box bit so we can have all the zany shenanigans that go along with it. She's probably flipping through this book and is giving her wackadoodle advice like, you know, it's okay to storm right in and, you know, talk to the higher ups and say, I've got a good idea. And, or, you know, something that would like scare the bejesus out of like a normal person, seem like a really bad idea to just kick down the door of a high up executive and like tell them to their face, I got something good, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna walk. And so she's, there's probably like a scene where she like kicks down the door, walks up to the executive and goes, boy, howdy, do I got an idea, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna walk. And of course, there's gonna be, in that classic zany Bojack Horseman manner, the executive goes, I like your style, Moriarty. Let's have a sit down and talk with the others. Let me know what you got. You got moxie, kid. And so she says, like, I knew you'd see things my way, and she, you know, she walks out all confidently, and soon as the door shut, she's like, oh my god, I can't believe that worked. I'm spitballing here, as you can see. But anyway, now at some points we have to introduce Bojack. So I don't know where in the timeline this takes place, but we're gonna say that Bojack is his usual screw-up, alcoholic Bojack self. And this zany idea that she has talked about is basically involving casting Bojack Horseman as Beta Ray Bill as a means of revitalizing the Marvel franchise to move on with like phase 3 or phase 4 or whatever phase they're on. And so, of course, the scene that I'm painting here is she's at this meeting with like a bunch of the high up execs and the shareholders and whoever would be in a meeting like this. And the idea is she's saying, okay, so here's the idea. We are going to cast Bojack Horseman as Beta Ray Bill and make him the new face of Marvel. Basically make him the new Robert Downey Jr. And of course, her theory being that much like Robert Downey Jr., you know, Bojack Horseman struggles with drug addiction, but if we can give him a redemption arc, we can leverage this as a kind of message to the fans and whatnot of like, even in your darkest pit, you can rise to the top and make a difference. And they'll tie that into the Beta Ray Bill story. And, you know, she's banking all of her eggs on this basket, and this could totally blow up in her face because this is Bojack we're talking about. The guy is a walking train wreck. But to her great surprise, once again, it's like a scene where she addresses the audience and goes, and like there's that awkward pause where you got all these execs staring at her, and then finally they say, that sounds like a brilliant idea. You know, it's risky, it's bold. You know, we could do something with this. And so, you know, they're all clapping and lauding her genius and her business innovation and whatnot. And once again, she puts on the confident face, but is like sweating bullets underneath. And so now we get to like, you know, skip ahead. More stuff happens. Of course, now we're getting to the point where she has to, you know, engineer all the advertising and like the marketing campaign for the movie. And of course, Bojack is gonna Bojack it up, right? He's gonna go on a bender. Like maybe there's a scene where, you know, he's high as balls and he busts in on set and he completely like does a wackadoodle improvised scene. But the director is one of those like crazy avant-garde directors who allows him to rant and rave on set. Like you can imagine, probably Princess Carolyn is tied to this, and of course Princess Carolyn calls up Lysandra and tells her like these things are going down, and then Lysandra's like, oh my god, this was a really bad idea, and she's like, and she, you know, she's probably pacing, thinking like, okay, I got to figure this out. So she says like, okay, you know, we can work with this. Go ahead and, you know, she's basically doing the Princess Carolyn, right? We can work with this. Go ahead and, you know, get the see if we can like spin the publicity differently. See if we can like, you know, tie this into addicts or like, you know, make him seem more like a method actor. I'll go ahead and like, you know, talk with advertising. We'll deal with this, you know, all of this delegation stuff. And she's like picking up phones saying like, you know, like push my 2 a.m. like, you know, push my 2 p.m. meeting. later, and we gotta, you know, set up a new meeting. And she's like juggling all this stuff, and she's just like, oh, I need a drink. And because of the fact that she was able to shuffle this all together, the movie becomes a massive hit. And that scene where Bojack was high as balls as Beta Ray Bill ends up giving him like an Academy Award. And the movie becomes a smashing success, revitalizes the property of Marvel, and, you know, allows them to open up like Disney World, like Marvel specific Disney World theme parks in like Russia and North Korea and like places previously unheard of. And it, like, you know, creates all kinds of new sources of international revenue for Disney. And like, because of that insane snowball effect that just happened to work out, like it catapults Lysandra to the top, you know, because like all of the executives and shareholders and other business people see this, and they say, like, you know, this woman is a genius, you know. They laud her as this great business mind, and she is shunted directly to the top and is now CEO of Disney. And, you know, the whole thing is like the joke basically is that Lysandra keeps her facade, but like the whole thing is like this is a teetering house of cards that should have fallen over many times over by now, and Lysandra has no idea how it's keeping together, and they just keep pushing her higher and higher up the corporate ladder, which means that the house of cards is becoming bigger and more precarious, and yet it's still working. And like it's insane. Like she has no idea what to do. It's it would be kind of funny, you know. And like, does she have a big downfall? Maybe. Does something else happen? Maybe. I don't know. Like, this is entirely a thought experiment video, basically. Anyway, let's go ahead and cut this rambling nonsense to a close for today. So, you guys know what to do. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the sacred buttons, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It lets me know that you guys like the content, or if you dislike it, if you hit the dislike button, which would make me a sad panda. But, you know, it is what it is. In addition, please comment below. You know, I always love hearing from you, what you have to say, if you have any suggestions, and I try to get back to as many of you as possible. Also, go ahead and share this. It's always good for the channel to share the video, and to show other people the things that you look up on YouTube, where you don't have to be ashamed of me. I don't do any of the weird stuff. And of course, as per usual, if you wish to follow me elsewhere, you can hit up my social media links in the description box down below. And with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you all stick around, and until next time, deuces.